Hello everyone, welcome to Facebook Live in the Hive. We're about 2 minutes early, so welcome. Let me know when you arrive so we can get started this evening. Hope y'all are doing well and you've had a great Wednesday. So let me know when you get here. Make sure I have some friends here. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's about 7:29, so we have another minute. Hi, Sonia. How are you? Thank you for being here. Hi, Nicole. Thank you for being here. Okay. Hello, Kisha. Hello, Gail. Thank you for being here, ladies. Hi, Donna. Hi, Margaret. It's storming here too, Margaret. Oh my gosh, Margaret has no electricity. Yes, I am very concerned about our broadcast tonight because it is storming here and we're supposed to have storms throughout the evening. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna lose power. But anyway, if I do, then I will not come back on because there will be no need to. So we'll just kind of play it by ear and see how far we get. Maybe we'll get at least one card done. Hi, Diane. Hello, Carol. All right, so yeah, Margaret and I do not live too far from each other. So I'm not surprised that you don't have electricity, Margaret. I almost debated, should I even try to have the broadcast tonight or should I just wait? So welcome everyone. It's about 7:30 p.m. Thank you for being here. My name is Tammy Shia and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And welcome to Facebook Live in the Hive. It is so nice to have you this evening. If you are brand new, say hello. Don't be shy. Hopefully we'll get to the end of the broadcast tonight and we can give away tonight's cards. All right, fingers crossed. Hi, Pam. I'm so happy you're here. I hope you're feeling better. All right. Hi, Corinne. Thanks for sharing. Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Again, in case you didn't hear me, we are having a storm. It's just getting started. And so there's like thunder and lightning. So if for some reason the broadcast is delayed tonight or if it goes off, I will not come back on, okay? All right. So we will see what happens. You'll know, and then I'll announce when our next Facebook Live will be next Wednesday night, okay, at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. All right. Hi, Lisa. All right, well, let's start with just a couple of announcements, okay? As you know, we are having a cardstock sale. This includes our 12 by 12 core cardstock. It is 20% off today, tomorrow, and Friday. Again, it is 12 by 12 cardstock. It's our two-tone cardstock. And so keep that in mind when you are shopping this week. So I wanted to let you know about that. Yeah, Lisa's probably 30 minutes from me and she's having a storm as well. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Ann. Welcome. Okay, what else do I need to tell y'all? Oh, okay. So it's almost, you have until next Tuesday to sign up for our Be Inspired virtual club. This is a sneak peek of all 4 card designs. And when you join club, you actually make 2 of each design. So you make 8 cards. They come with envelopes. And everything is not everything is die cut, but most things are, okay? You are responsible for cutting your own designer paper, but your cardstock bases are cut for you. Some of the die cuts are done for you as well, okay? So anyway, gosh, we've been having so many storms. We had quite a few last night as well. All right, so we will talk more about my Be Inspired virtual club this evening. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of the cards, and you have until, again, next Tuesday night to sign up. And after tonight's broadcast, I will put a link on the on this post, the Facebook post, and you can go and register, okay? So it is a subscription. So when you sign up, you're billed each month the very same time, and then you get your card kit in the mail. One thing that's different about mine is I am doing video tutorials, and I create a resource page for you. And it's got 5 to 6 videos, any little extra things that I find that might be helpful for you all. So it really is kind of a class. And you really get to know the bundle really well and or the suite. So I know a lot of people just send a written tutorial, but I like to teach and I prefer teaching. And so I like to do the videos because I feel like I can give you more detail about the products, okay? Hey, Mary Kay. Hi, Sue. All right. I am just looking here just to look at the comments a bit. Well, let's look at the Be Inspired virtual cards for this month, okay? Now, tonight we are going to be making 2 more Perfectly Pears cards with this bundle. And this will be the last night that we are going to be working with the Pear bundle, okay? Hey, Bobby, welcome. It has been a minute. Oh my goodness. You have a lot going on, Bobby, moving and weddings and all that stuff. Oh goodness, I can relate very well. All right, let's take a sneak peek and then I'll show you tonight. Well, one of the cards I can't show you tonight because we're gonna make it as we go. I haven't made it yet, okay? All right, so let me switch over to my hands real quick. Here we are. And this is one of the cards that we'll be making in our virtual card club. Here is another design and another one. And this one right here, and this is kind of a fun fold. So hopefully you can see that one. All right, and so tonight we're gonna be using that Perfectly Pear set, and we're going to make a card that looks similar to this one, okay? So let's see, let's go ahead and we'll start putting our card together, and then we're gonna work on the pear. Now in this original card, I actually cut out the pear from the designer paper. And then I cut out the leaves from the designer paper. But tonight, we're gonna stamp the pear, we're gonna stamp the leaves, and we're gonna use the Stamparatus and a sponge dauber, and we're gonna add some extra color around the pear. All right, so I'm excited to share that with you this evening. And it looks like we're gonna be starting with an early espresso card base, which is right here. I already have it cut and scored, so it's ready to go. It's a standard card base, so it measures 5.5 by 8.5, and then I score it at 4.25, okay? Now, our next piece is the Old Olive cardstock layer. I love Old Olive. This is measuring 4 inches by 5.25 inches, okay? And so let's add this to the card base. So the layers are pretty simple right here. And then we're just gonna center this. So you're gonna have about 1/4 inch all the way around, okay? All right, hi Margaret from, let's see, from North Carolina. Hello Tina from North Carolina. All right, so we've got some layers, and then we are going to pull out this let's see, what's the name of it's called Painterly Pears Designer Paper. And this is the piece that we're using this evening. It's right here. By the way, the paper in this suite is drop dead gorgeous. And I only have remnants that I can show you. So I will do that in just a second. I just wanted to get started because we're having this storm. So I thought the quicker we get started, the better. But let me share some of that designer paper with you. And you wait till you see this. These are all remnants, okay? I'm getting ready for classes this weekend. And so as you can see, this is all I have left. So here's another piece. And then here's this piece. And then this is like one of my favorite pieces right here. Love this. All right. Bobby, I am having a fall retreat, and thank you for asking. It's going to be the very first weekend in September. That's September 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And I am doing my best right now to get that information out to everyone. I am in the midst, I am right in the middle of wedding invitations for my daughter's wedding, and they will go out on Saturday morning. So right in the midst of getting ready for classes and getting ready for Facebook Live and then getting ready for my virtual club, I just have so little time right now. But yes, we're going to get that info out to you. It's going to be September 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Thank you for asking. So see, you can see some of this gorgeous paper. So, and then this piece right here is just lovely. And we used this piece last week. Do you remember? We used this piece last week to create a note card holder. All right. So now I'm gonna stack my paper back. Here it is. And I'll bring this card base back in. And then we're gonna finish it up. So now we've got an early espresso layer right here, and I'll measure this one for you. It is 3 inches by 4.5 inches, okay? So the theme for the retreat, you know what, ladies, I am not gonna put this on yet. I wanna wait until after we do our pear and our cutting, okay? So I'm gonna stop right there as far as actually putting the card together, okay? So we can get to the good stuff. I haven't decided on the theme of the retreat. I wanted to see the new September to December mini catalog. So I won't make my decision until August 5th. Well, actually, I can make that decision on July 30th because that's, as a demonstrator, you can see the catalog on July 30th, okay? So I'll make my decision then. I'm just gonna wait just a couple more weeks on that, okay? All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna bring in the Stamparatus, and you're gonna notice that I have already added the pear, and I've already added the leaves to the plate, okay? And we are going to be using, let me just move these magnets. Here we go. I am going to put this like this, and then I am going to add a magnet here, okay? All right, so what we're gonna do is we need some Darling Duckling ink. I have it right here. Okay, so Darling Duckling is the ink we're gonna use for the pear, okay? Okay, so we're gonna ink that up. It sounds like Tina is getting her order on Friday. Does that include the Perfectly Pears, Tina? I hope it does. All right, so right here is where I'm stamping, okay? And I'm gonna move this magnet because I could feel it in the way when I was trying to stamp. So before I re-ink, let's go back over. There we go. Now, this is not a solid image, okay? So keep that in mind when you go to stamp. You might be saying, well, I didn't stamp very well, or you didn't stamp very well. There's a variation in this image. I'll even zoom in a little bit more for you, okay? So you're going to have that variation. I think it's cool. Some people like solid images and they don't want the variation, but I absolutely love it. Makes it very realistic. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pumpkin pie ink pad. We're going to add some color to this pear. And it looks like I need to zoom out just a bit. And then I'm going to take the sponge dauber. And by the way, if you are part of my Be Inspired virtual club, you're going to get some more techniques and colors that you can use when using the pear. Okay, so I have all kinds of little tips for you. I really just want to get the edges of the pear. I don't want it really on the surface of the pear. And here I'm going to stamp again, and I hope I didn't overdo that. Oh, good. I did not overdo that. I'm happy with that. It makes it more realistic. And now I'm going to take a little more. And this is where you don't want to get too much on the pear. I'm just trying to do the edge. And then we'll add that again. All right. So that is my pear. Now, you can use your block, okay? And I don't know if I have an empty one over here. I do. Let me clean this pear, and I'm going to show you how to use it with just a block, okay? You may not have a Stamparatus. It's nice to have the Stamparatus because we can restamp if we need to, but sometimes we don't have it. All right, so I'm just going to pull this off, and I should probably have a larger block, but this is going to work for us, okay? All right. By the way, I'm going to be cutting this pear out because I really like how it turned out. But we may like how this one turns out. All right, so now I've inked this in the Darling Duckling. And before stamping, this is where I'm going to add pumpkin pie to the edges. Okay? And then I'm going to stamp this, and I'll just stamp this about right here. And there's our pear. So there are two ways that you can do this to add some color to your pear. And again, if you're in my Be Inspired club, I'm going to give you a lot of color combinations for the pears, okay? So which one should I use? Now I'm kind of liking this pear better. We do need to stamp the leaf, and since it's on the Stamparatus, I'm just going to stamp that real quick. I could definitely put this on a block. You could also do the same kind of thing with your leaves. And we're going to put our leaf right here. And again, this leaf also has a variation in color, okay? It is not a solid image, all right? So which pear? You like the second one? I think I do too, Gail. Me too. I think I added maybe too much pumpkin pie on the top of the pear when I did this. You really want it more on the edges. So as you can see, it takes a little bit of practice. I'm going to move this, and I'm actually going to bring in our cutting machine as soon as I can find some space here. I do need to zoom out. So I'm going to zoom out as far as I can. Okay. Sorry about the delay. I forgot I used my cutting pads earlier today and I didn't move them back over here. Alrighty. So we're going to open this up, okay? And these are just basic cuts. I'm using cutting pad 1 and 2. Not cutting pads, but platforms. And this is cutting pad 3. And then I'm gonna add this here, and I'm going to find the dies that we're gonna need. And I think I'll cut out this one. I kind of like this one too. I think, unfortunately, I was a little heavy-handed. But you know, you have to practice the technique. I don't think it's anything that would come really naturally with that. You just have to practice using your sponge dauber and just coloring around the edges of the stamp, okay? All right, so we've got our leaf. I'll put that right there so you can see it. And we have our pear. You're gonna also notice with the leaf and pear dies, you are going to have white space around the leaves. And you're going to have some white space around the pear, okay? So it's not a perfect cut. So you have to get used to that as well, okay? All right, so I think we've got that done, and I might be able to move the machine, and then we can put our card together. We'll close that up. All right, and let's see. Let's bring in our card. And we have our pear. What did I do with my leaf? There it is. Okay. All right. And I have some other items that we're going to be using this evening on this. We are going to use, I will bring them out. We're going to be using one old olive. I'm going to call it a branch. And then you have one in early espresso. Okay, so you need 2 of those, one of each color, old olive and early espresso. All right. And then we're going to need some pink flowers as well. I can't wait for you to see the finished card. I know you haven't seen it. So here we go. All right, so let's work with this piece right here. And I'll zoom in a little. All right, there we go. And there is an image in the stamp set that's right here. And this is really great as a background. And so I think we're gonna use old olive. And we're gonna probably place our pear about right here for the card. And so this is where I'm gonna add just a few dots. So sometimes we like to call this grunge. Hang on one second. And I think I'll turn this around this way. And I'm gonna put some here. You'll see the method to my madness in a second. All right, and I think I'll put one up there. Now I'm gonna stop there, okay? And I'm gonna close this up so I don't get the green ink everywhere. And we're gonna need, I was gonna say we need a glue dot, but I think what I'll do is I will use just a little bit of Tombow liquid glue right here. Hi, Deborah. And then we're just gonna tuck this right under the pear. All right, so we'll do something like that. And we're gonna give that a few minutes to dry. Let me grab my dimensionals. Now, I can even put a dimensional right over that to kind of hold that in place. And now we'll add some minis. By the way, it's really thundering here. Okay, all right. So that's what we have there. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to take this now to the Early Espresso cardstock that I measured for you. By the way, this color right here is Basic Beige, and the die cut is from Textured Notes. Hang on 1 second. It's gotten stuck, I'm sorry. So I use this die right here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 from smallest to largest. Let me count again. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it's die 5 from smallest to largest. And I'm gonna add this to our Early Espresso. Then we're going to add some dimensionals to this. I keep moving my dimensionals out of the way, and then I can't find them. Then we'll peel this off. Y'all have not seen this card yet. I'm gonna surprise you. All right, we've got our layers here, so let's just go ahead and we're gonna add this, okay? And then we're gonna take the paper off of the back of this pear. And then we're gonna add our pear about right here, okay? So that's where our pear is going. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this Early Espresso, and this is our Old Olive, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I am going to add some Tombow liquid glue to those 2 top leaves. And then I'm going to add this on top. So I still have my brown stem, but I have the Old Olive leaves. So now we'll do another one. And by the way, the detail in the leaves is beautiful, and they even open. So that little leaf opens. Can you believe that? Isn't that cool? So I'm gonna cut those off and just add on top. And now I get to have a realistic looking branch. There we go. And we can do this with the smaller leaves. We'll add a little bit of Tombow here and here. You're not even gonna see these bottom leaves, but we'll just go ahead and do it anyway. All right. Everything's getting a little sticky over here. There we go. And then 2 left. And this time I'm gonna leave these 2 connected, and they're gonna go right here. Okay? So now I've got my Early Espresso branch and I've got my Old Olive leaves. So I hope you like that little tip. So, you know, these little tips and things, these are things that I share during my virtual club lessons. So I'm really hoping that some of you ladies will join us, because we're gonna have a great time. All right, here we are going to slide this in. And I know I've got a dimensional under here, and I just wanna, just wanna lift that leaf up. Let's see how far I can tuck this down. There we go. Let's see. I am actually, believe it or not, I am going to trim this. I can use this on another project, or I may end up using it on this one. We will see. And let's see. I think that's what we're gonna do with that. Actually, I don't like that, so hang tight. I need to get under here. I've got a dimensional right there. Does this ever happen to y'all? There we go. So it's basically, you're just positioning this where you want it to be. And as you can tell, I can't make up my mind. Maybe I do want that branch back. I am going to add a little bit of glue here. You could pop this up if you want to. I'll read your comment in just a second, Carol. Thank you for commenting. All right, here we go. And then here, I may just, yeah, let's do that. Let's put that back in there. I do like that. So even though we cut it, we're gonna use it somewhere else. There we go. Okay. And let's see, so Carol says, watching you work on those leaves reminds me of making your Christmas ornaments. I know it's early, but I'm excited for this year's. Me too, Carol. I can't wait to see that next mini catalog so we can see what it's gonna all be about. We are not done by any means, okay, everyone? So now we're going to add some flowers. So let me show you the flower dies. And there is this cluster right here where you get 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 to 6 flowers in this group. And then you get 5 separate flowers, okay? So I've cut those out and I have used petal pink, okay? All right, so we have this lovely little cluster here. And you know, you can take your fingers and you can bend the petals, all right, to make them, you know, 3-dimensional. I'm gonna pop out these little pieces of paper here, okay? I probably popped it all over my card, but that's okay. And so this is where you would probably want to add something like this. And the way I'm gonna add it is, I'm just gonna add a little glue there to kind of take care of this, okay? Gosh, it'd be great to have a an adhesive sheet, wouldn't it? All right, so we've got some flowers there. And then you can even take some flowers and put them along the branches because these are the blossoms. Hang on one second. I'm gonna try and pop this up a little and then put it on the glue. You might have to wait till it dries though to really pop up those little petals. So what do you think? We're getting there, aren't we? We're building something here. All right, and we can even put one here to kind of hide that branch. I think the branch is so, so pretty. And then we could add another one. Well, we could put one here. Remember, you get 5 loose flowers. Okay, so that's 3 right there. And they say to work with odd numbers. So there you go. I think I'm going to add one here. All right. And then we're gonna add one more, and I'm gonna put it about right there. Okay, so I've got 5 of the loose ones here, I think. Oops. Well, it likes my Take Your Pick tool better. Okay, when that dries, I can lift up those petals. I'm just not able to do that right now. So the next thing we're gonna do is take another one of the die cuts from this series. Here's the die, and I've cut it out in basic beige. And you can fit the word hello and the word friend in this little space. So that's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna do it in early espresso. Now let's see. Early espresso is right behind me. And so we're gonna put it about right there. Okay. And I'm a tad crooked. Let me flip it over and try again. It's a little hard for me to do it because my phone is above the block and not my eyes. There we go. And for this, you can actually use a mini dimensional. And I'm gonna put that little mini about right there. And then I am going to take a little bit of liquid glue. Which one am I going with? I'm going with this one. I'm getting confused. There we go. And we're gonna put that about right there. Okay, so now we have the word friend. And now we're gonna take a little wink of Stella. And we are going to add it to the leaves and to this stem. There we go. And then we're going to add it to our pear. Hopefully you can see some of that sparkle. I will tell you, it really, really is pretty in person when you see this. Okay, so that little part is done. And now we're going to add embellishments that coordinate with this suite. Now you're going to notice that, let me see if I can move this one label out of my way. I label my embellishments now in my ribbon because it's hard to remember which publication they're out of. So here is a label that I've created, and it tells me which suite that it goes with and when it was launched, item number, and price. Now, if you are in my Be Inspired Club, you're now going to receive a label for your embellishments, and you will also have a label on your ribbon right here, okay? So that is another perk for being in my Be Inspired Club. Now let's add a little sparkle. You have two sizes here. All right, you're gonna find sometimes it's really hard to pick up this sparkle. And we'll put one up here. Okay, so that's our card. I hope you like it. All right, and I'm gonna show you the original. This pear is done with the designer paper. It is the die cutting out the pear from the designer paper as well as the stems or these leaves. And this is the one that we've created. So now you can see both. All right, so this is my Be Inspired card club for this month. So just another way to use it. By the way, this is the pear designer paper, and there's a die that cuts out the pear, a die that cuts out the leaves, and a die that will cut out the double pears. Now, what's really cool is if you have a full sheet of this paper, 12 by 12, there are 11 pairs on one sheet of designer paper. So you could cut out 11 pairs. 11 of them. Isn't that crazy? I'm gonna straighten up my workspace a little bit before we get to the next card, okay? So that's our card this evening. We'll try and give it away. Let's hope that storm stays far enough away that we can do this. All right? Okay. Now, I'm pretty sure that I have a sample of the card the second card that we're doing. I am trying to remember what I did with it because I've been cutting paper all day long. So I'm now wondering, where is that card? So just give me a second and I'm gonna look for it. Let's see. Okay, well, this is weird, but I can't seem to find the card right now. So, I do know what it looks like, so we'll start working on it, okay? Let's see what we can do here. We are going to be starting, this is our second card, by the way. We're starting with Secret C cardstock and our paper trimmer, okay? So again, this is the second card. I'll try and zoom as far out as I can. That is so weird. I'm sure that card is literally in front of me and I just don't see it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to score the card on the 11-inch side, okay? So 11-inch side, and we're gonna score it at 5.5. So let me scoot the paper trimmer down, 5.5. And then we're gonna put that score mark right there, okay? And then we're gonna rotate the cardstock to 8.5 inches, to the 8.5-inch size. And we're going to cut it at 4.25. Now this is going to give us 2 card bases, okay? So you can make 2 of these cards. All right. Now tonight we're using the banner dies, okay? So if you haven't seen these, they're called the Party Banners, and they are part of the annual catalog, okay? And we will be using 3 different sizes this evening. So this is going to be the largest size that we're using, and then this size, and then this size. So we'll count from smallest to largest. How about that? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 8. You're going to need number 8, number 9, and number 10, smallest to largest. So let's leave out number 10, okay? And we are going to cut this using our machine. And when you do that, we're going to be creating a really fun card. Oh, I remember what I did with the card. I was going to take a photo of it. So now I have to think about where it is. Where did I place it to take a photo of it? Oh gosh. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to cut that out. Sorry, a little discombobulated. Oh, man. All right, standard platforms again, 1 and 2, cutting plate 3. We're gonna lay this here. And then we are going to put the top right above the cardstock, okay? So in other words, this is not laying on the cardstock when I go to cut. I put it up a little bit higher, flip it over, and you can see that it will not cut the very top, this fold, okay? Hi, Suzanne. All right, here we go. So we're gonna position this right here, okay? And we're gonna add this cutting pad right here, and then we're gonna roll this through. And hopefully it didn't move. Okay. And then here, this comes, let me move this. This comes off, and you have a brand new card base, okay? So that is how you do that. And let's see, I'm just gonna move the machine. We're gonna need it one more time this evening. Okay. Now, the next die that we need is right here. And this is just one die smaller than this die. And so this is where we're going to put it. It can go on the inside, okay? And yes, you could definitely stamp some pears on here, but we can do that after we put it in here. And we're going to center this. And now we have a nice inside here. And when we stamp in a few minutes, we'll stamp some pears right here. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Tom found the card for me. He knew I was looking for it. This is what we're making, okay? And I was doing it from memory, all right? It was in the other room because this afternoon I meant to take a picture of it and I didn't do it. So this is what we're making. And so, anyway, we're getting there, okay? But now you have seen it, okay? Now, the next size die is Darling Duckling, okay? Now, everybody understand the dies? Do you know which ones we're using? We did count them. So this is largest, and then we did the next size down, and this is the next size down from the basic white, okay? All right. And we're gonna need the paper trimmer because we're actually going to be cutting some designer paper now, okay? So this is one of my favorite pieces of designer paper, and it matches the Secret C so beautifully. I'm gonna zoom in now, okay? And I wanna give you the measurements for this. The measurements for the DSP is 3.5 inches by 4 3/4 inches, okay? And so this measurement is super important, okay? Now what we're gonna do is, this is also important. You have to remember where you cut, okay? Because we're gonna put this paper kind of back together. So we're cutting 1 1/8. And we've got a strip, okay? Just keep it in this order. Then we're gonna cut 1 1/4. Let me just check on that measurement. Nope, it's gonna be 1 1/8, which is what I thought. There's 1 1/8. All three of them will be 1 1/8, okay? I need to change that in my notes. And this is also 1 1/8. So I have to trim this just a tad, okay? There we go, 1 1/8. Okay, so these are our pieces. We just don't want to get them out of order, and you'll see why in just a second. We are going to take Darling Duckling, and I am actually going to use some Tombow liquid glue, because if I do that, I can move my designer paper around. So I'll just kind of put it right there. And then this is my first piece, and I'm gonna align it with the top and the sides. Don't worry about the bottom so much, just align the top and the sides. Okay, I have to move over because I got some glue on my mat. Now the next piece we're gonna do is the other end, okay? So we're gonna do the same thing. And we're going to align it again, top and sides. And then we have the very middle, and we'll just run some Tombow liquid glue up the middle, okay? And then we're gonna align this at the top, but we're also going to center it between the other two pieces of designer paper. So you can see how it comes back together. All right, so keep your 3 pieces in the same order. I'm gonna give this just another second to dry, and then we're gonna trim the bottom, okay? All right, so here's the opposite side. And we're just getting rid of that bottom part, because we do want to be able to see the banner. And then we'll trim this like so. And there we have our banner, okay? Now I am gonna add some dimensionals to this as well. I know you're shocked. And now we're gonna get into those outer edges. And we'll go ahead and put this on our base, okay? All right, so the first part of our card is done, but now what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on the pears, okay? So we're going to be stamping pears. And we're actually going to use Old Olive ink. We are coloring the pears. We are going to color them. But I'm also, instead of using the black memento, I am gonna go with Old Olive, okay? Now, I always recommend when I'm teaching a class that you go ahead and cut out your pears before coloring. And that's because if you color this first and spend a lot of time coloring and making it beautiful, if you go to cut it out and that dye slips, it's messed up your image, right? And so that's why we're gonna cut them out first, and then I'm gonna show you how to color them. So we'll cut out first, and this is the die that we'll use to do that. I only need to cut out one because I've already taken time to cut out one of the pears. So let me zoom out. Now I haven't seen comments in a while, so I'm checking to see who's with me. We still have the basic sandwich with plates 1, 2, and 3. can move it. There we go. And I'm gonna put the die back real quick, okay? Don't wanna lose that die. All right. Now I'm gonna zoom in and I'm gonna show you how I colored my pears. And then I'll demonstrate with you as well. Hi, Carol. Oh, good, you're watching intently. It's just what I want. You're gonna need a light pecan pie for coloring. And you're gonna want, actually you don't need petal pink. You're going to want your light and dark old olive. And you're gonna want the light darling duckling, okay? All right. And actually, I don't even think you're gonna need your darling duckling Stampin' blend. You actually will not need that, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that stamped image and then we are going to line it up, and the stamp is gonna do all the coloring for us. Isn't that awesome? And again, do you see the variation in the pears? Okay, so the next step is, let's go ahead and we're gonna color in this stem. And that's all we need the pecan pie for. Now, if you don't have pecan pie, go with crumb cake, soft suede, cinnamon cider. You could even use early espresso. We're gonna take the dark old olive. Well, look at that. Let's see if I can't get this. Okay, come on, marker. That's the first time it's done that. This does happen, but to be honest, I've had these forever. Okay, so we're back now, and I'm taking that dark Stampin' blend color, old olive, and I'm doing the veins of the leaf, okay? And then I'm gonna take old olive. This is the light. And I'm gonna color in my leaves. And hopefully blend with some of that dark old olive. And then here's some more. All right, and my pears are done, okay? All right, something else I want to show you. There is a stamp for the flowers or the blossoms. And then this little piece right here is the centers for these flowers, okay? So I do want to show you a little technique that you can use. And again, these are the types of things that I share with my Be Inspired virtual club. Let's see if I can find that little flower. Here it is. This is the blossom. And then we need petal pink, which is literally right behind me. Now you can stamp on petal pink cardstock, ink this in petal pink ink, okay? And that's your flower. And then you can take Darling Duckling, and you are going to align these, okay? These are the centers of the blossom. And I need to grab my glasses because I really cannot see that. Here we go. I can see much better now. So we're gonna align this. And I think, let's see. Takes a few minutes to figure out. Yeah, I think it's gonna go, yep, it's gonna go like this. It's hard to see because I'm not looking directly over it. So I'm not doing a very good job. But here would be one of the centers, and here is one of the centers, and here is one of the centers, okay? So just know that this is the blossoms, and this are the centers for the blossoms. This is the grunge, okay? So know the difference for that. And then there is a die to cut them out. Another technique you can use is to take your dark petal pink and color your petals. Okay. And then your blossom begins to come to life. All right. So I will do this again so that you can see. Now, who has this on order? I know Tina does. Tina said hers is coming Friday. All right, I colored a little outside the lines there, but I think that you get the idea how you can bring those blossoms to life. You can even stamp on basic white cardstock. Now, what I did tonight, I cut out the blossoms from the designer paper. So that's another option for you, okay? So Diane's got it on order. Tina's waiting for it to come. That is awesome. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to put everything together here, okay? We've got a little bit of stamping to do for the greeting. Oh, Ann's is coming on Tuesday. Awesome. Okay. Wow, now it sounds like the thunder is literally over my room. All right, so we're gonna add these pears here. And kind of the way I did it was I put a little bit of Tombow liquid glue like right there. And then I added, let's see, yep, I added the pears about right there. Okay, so something like that. I'm gonna flip it over while it's drying. And I'm gonna add some dimensionals, okay? I think it's so pretty when it's popped up. All right, and now we can add this to our card. I love the designer paper. It is so, so beautiful. I know I keep saying that. All right. Oh gosh, I'm so glad you like the card. Thank you. All right, hang on, y'all. I'm trying. The struggle is real right now. I just could not get that off. Okay. So we'll add this about right here. You can see I'm moving this over a bit. I felt like my greeting was really crammed in there. So I'm moving that over a bit, but I forgot something. I cut out some extra leaves, okay? And I thought maybe we might want to add some. Oh, I'm liking that a lot. Hang on. Got to add that there. And then I'm going to cut the bottom of this off. Don't throw away what you cut off because you'll probably use it on another project. I'm going to add some leaves here. And I have a feeling when I add these pears, it's going to allow everything to lay flat. Okay? So let's see. Let's find the blossoms. And we're gonna pop these up as well. Here they are when they're cut out of the paper, okay? All right. And then here, I'm just gonna tuck them in. I'm not even sure where I'm gonna tuck them. Just wherever they look good, right? Let's see where that is. Sometimes I can spend all day just trying to figure this out. So we'll put the flowers right there. Now, let's go ahead. We're gonna add a little Wink of Stella to the blossoms, okay? Even though it's cut out from designer paper, we can add Wink of Stella to it. While I'm at it, I am going to also Wink of Stella my leaves and my pears. So let's go ahead and get that done. Do y'all hear that thunder? It is literally right over my stamp room. All right, hopefully we'll have time to give away these cards. All right, so that's our little Wink of Stella. Another thing you can do is you can take your embellishments. Deborah, I'm so happy you like the card. Thank you so much. That means a great deal to me. We're gonna use those small yellow dots and we're gonna put those on the center of the flowers. And I think that really helps it too, okay? And while we have these dots out, let's add some to our darling pears, okay? And I'm adding the secret C, okay? All right, we still have to do our greeting. Let's do that next. And we are gonna stamp it in secret C. And it says, a good friend is a gift, which is a really, really nice greeting. And I like how they mix the fonts as well. All right, so I'm gonna try and line that up. Oh, by the way, ladies, this die right here is from Unbounded Love, and it's right here, okay? So it's Unbounded Love. And many people ask me how I store my dies. This is a 6 by 7 inch magnet sheet from Stampin' Storage, okay? All right, so we have that done. Now let's add that greeting. Oh, and remind me, there's something else that we can do with the leaves. So I'm gonna show you that real quick too. All right, so a couple more dimensionals here. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Billy. Thank you, Jen. And then we're just gonna add that. Whoops, oh, hang on. Well, we'll just leave that right there, won't we? Ooh, let's do that. That worked out nicely. Okay, and let's not be crooked. Let's not be crooked, right? Okay, and we'll add another sparkle gem. And we'll do yellow. And what happened to my sparkle gem? Is it there? It's there. We're gonna put it right there. Okay? So there we have it. I'm gonna add one more because it's making me really, really happy. Right? Hey, dimensionals and embellishments, they can make you happy. Okay. So this is our card. This is the second card this evening. And the first one, where did I put it? The first one tonight, oh, I gotta show you something with the leaves. The first one is right here, okay? All right, so that's tonight's cards. And I wanna show you something about these leaves. They have these cuts in them, okay? And so what you can do is you can fold that, all right, and make it more three-dimensional. And sometimes I use my take your pick tool, and sometimes I do it with my fingers, okay? And you can go up here And you can do the same, and that'll give it a more three-dimensional look. Okay. And then of course you have the inside to write a message. There's the leaves. So I hope you like it. So for those of you in the Be Inspired Card Club, you've got 2 more cards to use your supplies with. Isn't that wonderful? So I'm trying to give you a lot of bang for your buck, and you've got 2 more card ideas. Okay. All right. Any questions for me this evening? I'm going to move some things around, okay, so we can do a drawing. I can't believe that we just might make it through. I shouldn't say anything at all, but we might make it through the broadcast. I'm going to move some things here. All right. Here we go. So it's going to take me just a few minutes. I've got to get over to Facebook. All right. And then I've got to go to the broadcast and copy. And now we're going to go to the comment picker. So, oh my gosh, Donna, thank you. I'm so glad y'all like both of the cards. Thank you. Y'all know I do stress all day, right? Every Wednesday I stress over the cards. So, anyway, it's a little crazy. Hang on one minute. I'm going to link this to our Facebook page in a second. Come on. So many things pop up on here that, I might have to log into Facebook. Let me see. Thank you all for being patient. I appreciate it. All right, I might be getting somewhere. Come on. Here we go. All right, and now I'm grabbing the comments right now. Oh, by the way, start commenting so we can see who the winner's gonna be. We have 75 comments, okay? You're welcome, Corinne. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put this over on my screen, and we're gonna give away tonight's first card. Here we go. Tonight's first card. Diane Moore. And Diane just commented, I'm okay with either one. Oh my gosh. I have got to get a Post-it note. My goodness. All right, let me just make a note. I don't even have a Post-it note with me here. All right, now let's give away the second card, okay? Let's see who wins it. Oh gosh, here we go. Pick another winner. There we go. Start. Let's see who that second winner is. Suzanne Palmer. Yay, Suzanne. Suzanne, I don't know if you have ever won or not. Congratulations. If you are watching, Suzanne, will you message me your home address so that I can mail this to you? That would be wonderful. Okay. Well, we did it. We made it through both cards this evening, even with thunder over the stamp room. So hopefully you are not having a storm where you are. I so appreciate you all. Again, the Be Inspired Virtual Club, I have all the details for you, and I am going to post them right after I say goodbye. So you can click on that link, you can start reading about our virtual club, and you can ask me questions, okay? That's what it's all about, asking me questions. The Be Inspired kits will probably ship early this month because I've got a family vacation at the end of the month, okay? So they'll probably ship early. I will see many of you this weekend. We have a Friday card club, and then I have a Saturday card club. So I get to see a lot of my friends this weekend. Here's a sneak peek of the cards that are part of my Be Inspired virtual card club this month. So I hope you'll take advantage of it, learn all about it, and ask me questions if you need to, okay? All right, everyone, have a great rest of your Wednesday and a great week ahead. My plan is to be with you next Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Take care, and I'll see you soon.